Good evening and welcome to Performance E-Streaming for round 5 of IRFF's AUSCAR series at Kansas Motor Speedway. I'm Brett Douglas and hopefully joining me very soon will be Danny G. Otherwise, you're stuck with me tonight. Okay, so as always, we've got two heat races, a consolation race which will form the grid, and a 75-lap feature race. No cautions during the first 3 segments. Only have cautions for the 75-lap main. So as always, interesting racing. Kansas, interesting track. Watching a little bit of practice as they just finish up here now. They've got about 3 or 4 minutes left to practice, and right now Gavin Sadler's setting the pace on a 31.1, closely followed by George Fullerton on a 31.2 and Steve Williams on a 31.2 also. So it's all pretty close at the top. So yeah, seems to be one of those tracks that's going to produce fairly close racing. Just having a look through now, and we'll see if we can just cover the points as we lead into this one. There's only tonight and next week at Las Vegas to go, so let's have a look and see where we are on the points after 4 rounds. So we've got Dwayne Priest sitting atop the table on 572 points, closely followed by Edward Foster on 554, Matthew Clute on 554 also, so second place is going to be quite a battle. Nicholas Walsh is in 4th on 550, and Jackson Callow on 544. Interestingly, Michael Skurlock in 6th is also on 544, so there's not a big difference there. There's only less than 30 points difference between the top 6. So, yeah, it's certainly an interesting battle up there with 2 rounds to go. This is also a track that it seems to be a lot of the guys are trying to run the top line at the moment. A few guys that I've seen trying to cover the low line in practice just seem to be struggling to hang on to it. So we've got quite a field here tonight, 23 cars. Most of the usual suspects are here. Just having a bit of a flick through now to see where everyone's at and what kind of times they're doing. And the first 4 rounds have certainly produced some really good racing. So you'd think this one will do the same. Looks like some of them can use the apron as well. Although when they do that on the transition back up onto the banking, they appear to be going back up into the wall a lot of the time. So unless you're just pushing too hard in practice, it's always a bit hard to tell. So one of the front runners in the championship doesn't appear to be here yet, which is Matt Clute, which would be a bit unfortunate for Matt. Tied for second, only a few points behind first. Be a hell of a shame if he can't make it. Having said that though, Dwayne Priest and Edward Foster, Nick Walsh, they'll all be happy campers if he doesn't. So as we wind out practice and get ready to go qualifying. Just watching Stephen Williams right now. He's currently sitting in 4th in the practice times. Of course, practice times don't always count for a hell of a lot. Everyone's pushing, trying different things, searching for different lines. Right, so that's practice done with. We'll start to see the guys roll out for qualifying. Right, so as I scan through here to see who's going out, picked up Dwayne Priest going out on his first lap. And being the championship leader, I'm guessing he'll be quite keen to put in a good time and get himself a good starting spot for the heat races. So as he comes across now, he's just going up the back straight, coming into 3 and 4, and he'll begin his first timed lap. So he runs down over the apron, coming down across the line, then back up high to turn 1, keeping it very high through turn 1. Stays high all the way out through turn 2 onto the back straight. Then moves down to mid-track for turn 3 to exit turn 4 easily into the tri-oval on over the line. And what's that give him now? It gives him a 31.5, so that leaves him in 3rd after his first time lap. Currently we've got Darren Lord sitting atop the table on a 31.4. Terry Marwood closely followed on a 31.422, so there's only a thousandth in that one. And quickly dropped down to 6th after that first lap. So we'll have a look and see if we can pick someone else up here. Looks like he's finished that lap. And I'm just watching Riley Curtis right now. As Riley comes down over the start-finish line. Looks like it's his first flying lap. And they're all staying high to middle track, so it appears as though that that's where the speed is tonight. Fairly cool track at 26 degrees. So as Riley comes down across the line on his first flyer, where does that leave him? 19th on 32 flat. And Gavin Sadler's just jumped to the top with a 31.2. Raymond Yeager's jumped up into 2nd on a 31.3. Terry Marwood's jumped up into 3rd on a 31.3. Terry won our last round at Texas, of course. So it looks like Riley Curtis has just got a little bit wrong as he's come off 3 and 4, which obviously won't help him for his second lap. All right, so now I've just picked up Jackson Callow. Jackson's always a front runner here. He's always spectacular. Looks like he's just heading out on his first flyer. Currently 5th in the points. So as he comes down the back straight into 3, we'll see what he can do on this lap. Looks fairly tidy, running a slightly lower line than most of the other guys at the moment. As he comes across the line, that will put him down in 19th on a 31.8. All right, so it's the end of qualifying. Let's have a look and see where that leaves everybody for Heat 1. Righty-ho, so for Heat 1, our grid will be Gavin Sadler on pole with Terry Marwood beside him. Dave Douglas on the 2nd row with Steve Williams beside him. Edward Foster on the 3rd row with Brendan Hamilton beside him, then Riley Curtis and Aaron Dillon, Todd Maxfield and Jackson Callow, and Troy Price and Stacey Walker. So that's a grid for Heat 1. No cautions, of course. 10-lap sprint. Then we'll run Heat 2 with the rest of the field. So as we just wait for them all to grid up and the pace car to lead them away. Should make for an interesting heat race, this one. Gavin Sadler and Terry Marwood off the front row. They're always right up there at the front, as the first 4 rounds have shown. The other guys will really have to hustle to get in front of them in a short 10-lap run. So they're just getting ready to go off now on their pace lap. And we'll see what these guys have got for tonight at Kansas. Got Edward Foster in there on the 3rd row as well. Of course, Foster's challenging for the championship and currently in 2nd. So as we come up the back straight, getting ready to head off. It's always spectacular here under the lights at night races. Also cooler conditions, which they all enjoy. So as they come out of 3, pace car pulls off and Fields under the lead of Gavin Sadler. And as we go green, away goes Gavin Sadler. It's a good jump. Terry Marwood's trying to stick with him. So Terry Marwood's dropped down in there behind him. And Dave Douglas has just dropped there into 3rd with Edward Foster. Oh, contact already. That's a shame. Riley Curtis and Steve Williams, it looks like Riley Curtis came off worst. But up front, looks like Terry Marwood's tried to make an inside run on Gavin Sadler. But Sadler's managed to hang on quite nicely and just pull a little bit of a couple car lengths gap on Marwood. Back in the field, Foster, Douglas and Callow look to be fighting it out pretty hard there. Stephen Williams has dropped back a little bit after that contact. But Marwood's coming at Sadler now as we come across working lap 3. He's making an inside run on Sadler for the lead. They've both got quite a gap on the rest of the field right now. Sadler's hanging back in there though. It definitely looks like that top line's a hell of a lot better than the low line. Definitely seems to have the speed. So as we come across to work lap 4 now, still Sadler from Marwood and quite a gap back to Edward Foster, who's managed to put a bit of a gap on Jackson Callow and Dave Douglas at present. But it looks like Gavin Sadler's definitely got the pace going here tonight. Foster's pulling in Marwood fairly quickly too, actually. So obviously that draft's working well for him tonight. Definitely got a quick car. As we come across to work lap 5, Marwood's sticking to that low line while Foster and Sadler are hanging on to the high line. And with that speed being up there on the higher line, you'd have to think that that's going to give Foster quite a good chance to actually get past Marwood in the next couple of laps. Again, it's only a 10-lap sprint, so there's not a lot of time to actually get the job done. So Jackson Callow is also trying to close on Foster now. He's back in fourth. Looks like Sadler's able to keep that gap back to Marwood quite comfortably at the moment. As we're going to come across the line now to work lap 7 in a moment. But Foster's definitely all over the back of Marwood, and that's where the race is right now. But Marwood's able to make that low line work for him by the looks of it. And again, Foster to the high line, trying to make something work here. He's right up on the rear wing of Marwood. So Marwood gets a little bit loose out of 2. Callow's closing up on the back of Foster now, and looks like Foster's got a great run, and he's taking Callow right there with him out of turn 4 across the triangle as we work lap 8 now. And oh no, Callow's got into the back of Marwood. Looks like it's taken them both out of the race lead. So right up front now, it's Gavin Sadler's got a gap up to Foster. With Brendan Hamilton sitting back there in third, but with only 2 laps to go, Foster's going to have to put in a hell of an effort to catch Sadler on this one. That's a shame for Marwood though. Looks like the draft might have caught Callow out slightly. Just put him into the back of him as he pulled up onto him. So as we come up the back straight on lap 9, Foster's definitely closing on him. It's only a 0.2 gap right now, but ooh, Sadler just a little bit loose off 4 then, and it's actually given Foster a bit of a chance here as we work lap 10, the final lap. Can he get the job done? So Foster goes down low, Sadler stays up high. It's going to be hard for Foster to get the job done down low as we come off turn 2 onto the back straight. Looks like Sadler might be fairly comfortable here as long as he doesn't get loose off 4 again. It'd be very hard for Foster to get past him. Gap's just too big now. It's now 0.3, so. And as we come across the finish line, definitely Sadler from Foster, Brendan Hamilton, Stacey Walker, Dave Douglas, Steve Williams, Jackson Callow, Terry Marwood, Todd Maxfield, Riley Curtis, Aaron Dillon, and Troy Price. Right, so as we finish heat 1, we move into heat 2, and we just have a bit of a look now to see what the lineup will be for heat 2. So we've got off the front row, off pole will be Raymond Yeager. On the front row with him will be Darren Lord. The second row will be Norman Clark and James Robbie in 4th. Dwayne Priest and Michael Skurlock. George Follett and Peter Jewson on the next row. Nicholas Shields and Nicholas Walsh. And on the 6th row will be Shane Van Gisbergen, who didn't set a time in qualifying. Be interesting to see what Shane can do coming through the field in 10 laps. All right, so as the pace car starts to lead them away on their formation lap for heat 2. Again, no cautions, 10 laps. This will finalise the grid for the consolation race, and the consolation race will finalise the grid for the main race. All right, so as we come out of turn 4, we'll wait for the pace car to pull away, and then the race will be under the control of the pole sitter, which is Raymond Jaeger. And the pace car is off, and the field's now under the control of Jaeger. And as we go green, and away he jumps. So Darren Lord's going with him quite well, as is James Robbie by the looks of it. So Jaeger goes low, and lots of cars, 3 wide, 4 wide back there. Hard to tell who's in what position right now. They're all 2x2 and 3x3, which is generally, oh no, big wreck. Looks like about 5 or 6 cars involved. Well, that's a shame. So we'll move back up front now. And we've got Raymond Jaeger being challenged by Norman Clark and George Fullerton. George has been another one that's been consistently quick through these through the last few rounds of this series, as has Norman Clark, so this will be interesting. We've got Nicholas Shields closing up on him to make it a 4-way battle right now. So as we come off 4 across the line to work lap 3. Fullerton's trying to close up on the back of Jaeger, but Jaeger's holding that top line, which has given him a bit of a pace advantage. It looks like Clark might have just got a little bit high and touched a wall back there, and Shields has just got past him for 3rd. They're a fair way back from the leading 2. So Fullerton's giving Jaeger a bit of a hard time. Looks like Fullerton's using the middle to high line, whereas Jaeger's sticking to that high line. It seems to be working quite well for him at the moment. Right, so as we come up out of turn 4, it's thinned out the field a little bit, unfortunately. It's left a few people further back, but it's still a great race up front. And can Fullerton actually challenge Jaeger, I wonder? Looks like Jaeger might actually be slowly edging out a little bit. He's got about a 0.4 gap at the moment. So you'd visually it looks like it's actually creeping out a little bit. So it looks like Jaeger's really on the pace tonight. Shields is just hanging back there in 3rd. So we come across the line to work lap 6. But yeah, it's a 0.45 gap now, so Jaeger's definitely just eking out further and further every lap by a couple of hundredths. Give him a good starting spot for the consolation though. So as we come across, start working lap 7. That gap's actually come down a little bit. Fullerton's actually pulled him back a little bit. He's got that one down now to 0.35, so visually it looks the same though. But Jaeger's car looks very planted. He looks very much in control. Doesn't look like he's struggling with his track at all. Track temperature's inched up to 26.1, so it's not getting too much warmer, but it is a night race under lights, so don't generally have too many problems. It's also quite a cool ambient at 26, so the top 3 stay as they are. Jaeger, followed by Fullerton and Shields. Quite a gap between all 3. Only 2 laps remaining now. So unless he has a problem, you'd have to assume Jaeger's got this one. He's just holding that gap steady right now at, what, 0.4, so... Looks like Shields is just dropping back a little bit further by lap by lap. So Jaeger comes out of turn 4 into the tri-oval, crosses the line, start working the final lap of this second heat race. Very much in control. We've lost Van Gisbergen, Skurlock, Lord and Robbie from that earlier incident. But it's all about Raymond Jaeger right now as he comes out of turn 4 and just going across now to cross the line for the win in the second heat race. So our finishing order will be Raymond Jaeger will take the win easily from George Fullerton, Nicholas Shields, Nicholas Walsh in 4th, Peter Jewson in 5th, Norman Clark in 6th, Dwayne Preece in 7th, and first of our retirements, Shane Van Gisbergen, then Michael Skurlock, James Robbie, and Darren Lord. Right, which sets us up now for a 25-lap consolation race. This race will still have no cautions, and it'll form the basis or form up the grid for the main race, which is 75 laps after this. Pretty much everyone will be in the consolation race, so everyone will cross over. And as they just line up now on pit lane behind the pace car, wait for everyone to jump into the server and line up behind it. We'll have a look and see how the grid looks. Alrighty, so off the pole will be Gavin Sadler with Raymond Jaeger beside him. Obviously both won the heat races, followed by Edward Foster and George Fullerton, Brendan Hamilton and Nicholas Shields, Stacey Walker, Nicholas Walsh, Dave Douglas and Peter Jewson, Stephen Williams and Norman Clark, Jackson Callow and Dwayne Preece, Terry Marwood and Shane Van Gisbergen, Todd Maxfield, Michael Skurlock, Riley Curtis and James Robbie, Aaron Dillon and Darren Lord, and on the last row will be Troy Price. So quite a field, quite a few cars here.
And I am here.
And we have Danny G just joined us. How are you, Danny?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Good to have someone to talk to here. It's actually not the easiest thing to try and do this on your own, is it?
No, it's not. I've done it for about 15, 20 seconds and I was hopeless.
Yeah, and if you listen to the first 2 heats of this race, you'll think the same of me, I'm afraid.
It's not too bad. I actually caught most of the first heat. It was a pretty good race there towards the end, and then I saw the big wreck in, I think, the first lap of the second heat. Yeah,
it was a bit of a shame. It took out 4 or 5 of the guys, so, but yeah. Well, right now, no time to chat. Right now, we're just coming around out of turn 4. The pace car is just coming off for the 25-lap consolation race. And we're just waiting for Gavin Sadler to lead them away. Okay, and we're away, we're green. Looks like most of them actually went with Gavin Sadler quite well. Jaeger's hanging on there. Looks like Foster's actually come up the inside of Jaeger and going for a good run on Sadler for the lead.
Yeah, I think he's going to get there. Edward should probably clear him down the backstretch. They Sadler gets a great run down the back heading into turn 3.
Yeah, well, they're all running 2x2 and 3x3, and if they look at heat 2, it doesn't tend to end well here, but the other thing we've noticed too is the low line hasn't been working well for anybody. The high line's actually been the fast line.
Yeah, it generally is around this track actually, Kansas, and sort of these 1.5 mile speedways, especially at night. It's going to be get a lot more drive off the corners.
Yeah, just noticing now, Foster's just dropped in behind Sadler up on the top line. Hamilton's just coming down on the inside of Foster, but he's trying to get up onto the high line himself, and yeah, looks like
we got a wreck in turn 3 too.
We do too. Who's that? I can see a car up on the wall, but I can't quite see who it is.
No, I'm not too sure. They've gone from my screen.
Nope,
didn't bring out a caution flag there. I'm not sure are there the caution flags on the feature here?
No, not in the consolation. We don't have any cautions until we get to the main, so which is a bit unfortunate for the guys, because if they have an issue, they can't really recover from it.
Oh, okay, yes, cool. I'm just a little touch unfamiliar with the format here, but that's pretty cool.
No, that's fine. So 2 heats and a consolation with no cautions, and they have cautions in the 75-lap main.
Gotcha. All right then.
So back up the front, Sadler's doing well up front there, just try to cruise away from the pack. He's got Foster in close proximity, and fair gap then back to Brendan Hamilton, who's coming under fire from, by the looks of it, George Fullerton. And is that Raymond Yeager coming back? It is.
Yeah, he's definitely having a good try here on the outside.
Yeah, he is, and it's just a bit of a graphic illustration there of just how quick that outside line is compared to the low line, because they just went past Hamilton like he was standing still, didn't they?
Yeah, like, as for perspective, I have never actually driven these cars on this racetrack, but if my oval experience had anything to go by, yeah, that high side's going to be pretty good tonight. Yeah,
I'm a bit of a disadvantage as well on this one too, Danny, because I have never driven this track myself at all. So
Hamilton's gone around. They've caused a big crash here going into turn 3.
Oh, jeez. I was watching up front. Can you see how many it's affected, or is it not too bad?
I think it took out about 3 or 4. Definitely slowed that part of the pack down. But Edwards really coming on strong here, pretty much like he did late in the first race.
Yeah, he just couldn't quite bridge it in the first race, could he?
No, he was getting close.
Oh, it's interesting though, because it looks like some of the guys are able to use a bit of draft, but I was watching these two in the first heat, and it just seemed like there was almost like there was no draft for Foster.
Yeah, okay, you'd think there would be with these massive wings on the back of the car, but I think, you know, Edwards' experience on ovals too, like he knows how to, like, might not be strong in the first 10 laps, but he'll really set his tyres in and come on strong at the end.
Yeah, it's, well, we also know that I think Sadler's running that older Falcon too, so they're usually quick for the first 7 or 8 laps, but start to drop off pretty quick too. They've also got a pit lane disadvantage. Their pit stops take around sort of, 8-10 seconds longer. So,
oh, wow.
So they won't be stopping in this race. It's only 25 laps, but it'll certainly make a difference in the main.
Yeah, I'm just seeing now Terry Marwood's going through the grass on the front stretch. He got loose, or pretty much spun actually coming off turn 4.
Solo effort?
Yeah, we got a massive pack here between Dwayne Priest, Aaron Dillon, Nick Walsh, and Jackson Keller. Huge pack there. They all painted up the same. Must be from the same team. Alliance, probably.
Oh no, and we've just lost our leader. Gav Sadler's just got loose coming off turn 4. He's going through the grass down through the tri-oval. It doesn't look like he's hit anything, but oh wow, certainly dropped him down a few places, that's for sure. Where's that going to leave him in the pack? Oh, and he's popped out right in front of that big pack of, looks like, are they lads racing cars?
Yeah, that was that big pack I was just talking about. Yeah, Gav just got very loose coming out of turn 4 there on the high side.
Yep, they're all team cars. They're that's lads racing, I think. So that leaves Foster with a huge gap out front now. He's got like a 1.6 lead over Fullerton now, who's actually Sadler's teammate.
Yeah, Dave Douglas is behind him, but he's down a couple of laps. He's definitely got a big lead. He's pretty good in this series, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not bad at all. He drives these cars well, and well, he's now got a teammate behind him in Dave Douglas to play rear gunner if the other two start to catch up. But look, Fullerton and Yeager are actually having their own little battle back there. To bridge a 1.75 gap's pretty hard now. We're working lap 11, so we're not quite halfway, but still, it's a big ask. And interestingly, one of the big movers through the field that I can see is Stephen Williams, closely followed by Shane Van Gisbergen. So that'll put a bit of a ripple of fear through a few of these guys, I would imagine. Yeah,
well, Stephen Williams running the old HRT paint. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I think it's more the rainbow car behind them with number 97 that they're all going to freak about.
Yeah, they just might do.
But Williams is making a great run here. He's trying to get on the back of Fullerton because it looks like Yeager's managed to pull away from him now. So they've stopped their battle, and looks like Yeager's off after Foster. But Williams is really closing fast on the back of Fullerton right now.
Yeah, you're right though. When these cars sort of bunch up in a line, there's definitely some tail there. They're getting a lot of draft. Yeah,
they do. It looks like nothing, and then they just suck up onto the back of them, like we're watching here now with Williams. Just the speed that he got off that turn 4 cushion, straight down below Fullerton and takes him.
And Fullerton into the wall there too. Yeah, that was a massive run. That was awesome.
Yep.
And he got pretty loose coming out of turn 4 too to make that move, but Fullerton back on the charge here, going down the the backstretch, and Gisbergen on the inside here. 3 wide.
Oh,
And,
no, Fullerton's just got in the back of Williams. Oh, looks like he's come off second best, though, although it's certainly held up Williams' pace a little bit. Looks like it's allowed Riley Curtis to get past Williams, but it's certainly Fullerton back down the pack pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah, Fullerton, he's going down 7, 8 spots here.
Yeah, that's really bad luck for Steve Williams, too, because that was not of his doing, but wonder if it was just getting a little bit caught out by the draft.
Yeah, definitely could have been.
So back up the front, Raymond Jaeger's trying to hunt down Foster as we work lap 14. About 10 laps to go now as we come across the line to start working lap 15. Looks like Foster's got a 1.5 second lead over Jaeger, who's also got about a 1.7 second lead or gap over Shane van Gisbergen. So those gaps are going to be pretty hard to bridge without any draft effect or anyone to work with.
Yeah, Steve and Edward are pretty much matching the same laps here over the last 3. It's been 1.5 seconds the last 3 laps.
Yep. So it's just until you get a little bit closer up. So you've got to get very close for the draft to work. So
yeah, Riley Curtis now all over the back of Gisbergen. He tries the outside with the tri-oval. Gisbergen cuts him down, and Riley's going to try underneath. No, I don't think he will.
yeah, the problem is too, I think when you actually have a go at someone and you don't quite pull it off and you've kind of got to get out of it, you just seem to lose that little bit of ground, and it takes you a while to recover from it until you can get back into that draft.
Yeah, it almost seems like a restrictor plate. You get off the throttle, you sort of go backwards. Gisbergen, he gets loose in turn 4.
Oh,
Riley has to pull up behind him.
Oh, he's gone. He's down into the grass. So, but that's also held up Curtis and allowed Dwayne Priest and Stephen Williams through.
Yeah, I think by the end of this, Curtis might lose. Oh, he sort of hung up pretty well here. I thought he was going to lose another 4 spots, but he might lose 1 or 2.
Yeah, he's fared better than most of the others as they've all gone around earlier, hasn't he?
Definitely has. Meanwhile, Edward's just starting to pull away now from Jaeger, but yeah, just keeping an eye on Riley here.
Yeah, that gap's now 1.85, so I can't see Jaeger catching him. Although, you know, no one's going to catch Jaeger either, so it looks like they've got the top 2 positions locked away as we come across now to start working lap 18. The battle seems to be Williams and Priest at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. You've got Williams on the inside. He just can't get on the power there enough. Priest on the outside. He's going to get a good run down the backstretch.
Yeah, and it comes back to what we were saying earlier with that high line. Look at the ground that Williams has lost trying to hang on to that low line. Curtis and Fullerton, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Fullerton trying to bump draft Curtis through the backstretch.
Yeah. But Williams just lost so much ground trying to do that.
Yeah, he definitely has.
It's actually Gavin Sadler, not Fullerton.
Oh no, Fullerton, yeah, sorry, 2 cars behind them.
Yeah. So now we've got a 4-way battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th by the looks of it. And Curtis really trying to make some inroads on Priest, and Priest is obviously at the top of the ladder, so he wants to have some good. He wants to have a good finish so he can set himself up well at the front of the grid for the main, does he? I mean, this race sets the grid for the main.
Yeah, for sure. He needs the points. He's got Riley on the outside of him. He's going to get this move done.
Well, if Priest tries to hold the low line, you'd have to assume Curtis is going to go straight past him, wouldn't he?
You'd think so. I mean, yeah, Riley didn't get straight to the centre. But here comes a good bump draft here, or get very close. Yeah, just pushes Riley out in front.
Well, Priest is watching Foster just take off out front, and they're fighting for the championship lead. So
he's hung on well though, Priest here. They're 3 wide now.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, Sadler to the outside. He's going to try it. Williams into the wall.
Ooh, Williams is gone. He's hit the wall again. Yeah, Williams is gone. He just hit the wall again.
Yeah, he almost took out Fullerton. Riley has to drop back here. He's lost a couple of positions. But this is the last lap, isn't it?
No, we're coming lap 21. We've still got 4 to go. So they come across the line now. We're now working lap 22 of 25. So we've still got a couple of laps left of this battle, mate. So, I tell you what, loading high with that wall coming out of 2, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But I mean, saying that, Jaeger's pulled this back down to 1.4 seconds, so he's on a bit of a move here.
Just jump back up front now and have a bit of a look. Well, Foster's running fairly comfortably there. Dave Douglas, his teammates, just slotted in behind him. Obviously, Dave's down a few laps. So you wouldn't think that if Jaeger can bridge that gap, it's still 1.7 seconds, though, with, 3 laps to go.
Yeah, he's just lost 3/10.
Yeah, so, you wouldn't think he's going to have much luck there. I don't think Dave will make it too hard for him, but he's certainly not just going to give it to him, is he?
They're pretty much set. Yeah, the battle now is between Gavin Sadler, Priest, Riley Curtis.
It is. So I'm just going back now to rejoin those guys. I'll just have to remember to go back to Foster before just before the finish. So they're coming across now to work lap 24 with 2 laps to go. And
yeah, Sadler's got a pretty good lead here, though.
Yeah, looks like Sadler's pretty comfortable there now. I'd say a few of them have lost their tyres by now. They're all pushing pretty hard and fighting hard, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I mean, Riley's definitely lost them. He's just gotten loose coming out of turn 2. He's given up a spot. Probably going to give up another one.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Priest can make much impression on them.
We'll see here if he gets a good run through the draft into turn 1. But this is
This is the last lap?
Yeah, it is.
Yep. And Foster's way out in front now, 1.9 second lead over Jaeger. So.
And here comes Priest with a bit of a run down the backstretch. He's not going to quite get there by turn 3. Sadler tries the inside, but Priest goes very, very high. They're actually quite close. Priest's going to get a great line, and I think he's going to come out. Yeah, he's going to come and do this. Not sure what happened to Sadler there.
And as you're saying that, Foster takes the win. With Jaeger in second and Sadler in third.
No, Priest got around Sadler in the end. I'm not sure what Sadler did. He seems to have, I'm just watching the replay now. He goes into turn 3. Probably has to. He's probably just trying to defend that line, and Priest takes the outside and motors on by.
You're right too. And my scoreboard's just readjusted itself for Priest in third and Sadler in fourth. So, all right. So that was a interesting race. So we'll just quickly run through the grid for the feature now, which is obviously the finishing results for the consolation race, which makes it easy. Saves me going through the results of the consolation, doesn't it? So just waiting for it all to go. Okay, so the grid for the 75 lap feature here on the front row from pole will be Edward Foster with Yoraman Jaeger beside him. Dwayne Priest and Gavin Sadler on the second row, Nick Walsh and George Follett on the third row, Riley Curtis and Darren Lord on the next row, Aaron Dillon and James Robbie round out the 10. Then we've got Norman Clark, Brendan Hamilton, Jackson Callow, Terry Marwood, Michael Skurlock, Dave Douglas, Troy Price, Stephen Williams, Nick Shields, Shane Van Gisbergen, Todd Maxfield, Peter Jewson, and Stacey Walker. Although it looks like Peter Jewson might have actually left the service, so he might have put that car behind the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah, he seems to. His nights definitely seems to be done. Same with Jackson Callow.
Right. Well, that'll be a bit of a shame.
There's been a few drivers drop out, but it's definitely going to be a decent-sized field here for this 75-lap feature.
Well, no, Jackson's out there, mate. Yep.
Oh, he's back. Sorry. My mistake.
Yep, it's all right. I was going to say he's 5th in the championship, so I'd be surprised if he just bailed.
Yeah, that wouldn't fare well for him.
So we've got a 3-minute warm-up before the feature starts. We're about halfway through it right now. I'm already gone through the grid for this one, so based on that, who's your pick for the main? Considering it's now 75 laps and.
I have to say Edward, from what I've seen in like the first race, I mean, even Gavin Sadler there in 4th, he's going to definitely give it a shot if he gets up there. I think him and Edward will actually have a good battle. There's some good drivers down the field too that did have pace that probably could get to the front, but at the moment I'd have to say I've got my money on Edward.
Yeah, it'd be hard to go past him, isn't it? Although Jaeger's been pretty quick all night, and Sadler's been up there as well. But Sadler's got the disadvantage of the older Falcon, as we talked about before, so his pit stop will be slightly longer. But yeah, there's a couple of guys a bit further down the grid that aren't normally down there, and talking Jackson Callow, Terry Marwood, last week's winner, Michael Skurlock. Yeah, there's just Peter Jewson's normally pretty quick as well. So, but as we said, he's left. So,
yeah, I mean,
interesting. You got cautions to play with now too. Remember, so that introduced a different strategy.
Yeah, for sure. And from what I've seen, the tyre wear is actually quite dramatic. So you'll be wanting tyres. So if like you say, those older Falcons take longer to pit serve, they're definitely at a disadvantage, especially late in the race if the caution comes out and everyone comes in for fresh tyres.
Yeah, that's it. It's just one of those things with them, with the older Falcon apparently, that they've got to do the fuel and tyres. I think they do the tyres separate sides separately or something, if I remember rightly. It's been a while since I actually saw it. So, but yeah, it's about 8 to 10 seconds longer, I think.
Yeah, wow, that's massive. You're basically betting on a green flag run, hopefully, if you're one of those cars.
Well, yes and no, because from what the guys have been saying that run them, after about 8 to 10 laps, you've got no tyres left under you. So even on tracks where you'd think the low line runs, these guys have been running the high line and making it work for them because it's the only way they can get their car to stick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from what I've seen, I thought the stock cars were a handful on these tracks. These things just seem insane.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get behind the wheel and have a run. They reckon they're pretty good. It's just getting used to that draft. It's unlike a stock car that does have it. These things just with their big wings just absolutely pull up on the back like a rocket. So
yeah, I can imagine. Very reminiscent to the old car of tomorrow for NASCAR with the big rear wing.
Yeah, that's the one. I'd forgotten about that. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
Alrighty, so as they start to form up the grid now in pit lane behind the pace car, again, caution laps count in this one. Hopefully we won't have too many of them, although judging by what we've seen in the heat race, it's a consolation. Turn 4 could bite a few people.
Yeah, from what I've seen, there's going to be a few. But in saying that, every time I commentate, I say that before every race, and they just aren't happening these days. Hopefully these guys will prove us wrong and we'll get some good racing in.
Well, if history tells us anything, Danny, we'll get a few cautions.
Oh, okay.
It's been that kind of racing up till now. This is round 5 of 6, so it's starting to get a bit serious at the pointy end of the championship, and yeah, they don't mind putting their elbows out. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to stick my nose in here next week and give it a go.
Well, if not, you can join me up here.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy doing this too.
All right, so as we come up the back straight, Foster will lead them away with Jaeger beside him. Hopefully they can all get a clean start and get some good clean laps, at least at the early stages anyway. It'd be good to see them just make a bit of a race of it early on.
Yeah, 100%. From what I saw from the last race, we'll definitely get some 2 wide, 3 wide in the first 2 or 3 laps.
Maybe the last 70 odd laps as well.
Yeah.
All right, so the pace car's pulling off, now under the control of Foster on pole. Ready to go green. Yeah, we're green and we're away. Wow, slow takeoff. Looks like the inside line's actually been very slow to get away.
Yeah, Edward's got a pretty good jump. He's got enough to clear this, but he's got to take the inside line here and try and speed away from Jaeger, which he does. Looks like Gavin Sadler and Fullerton on the outside trying to make that run work. And sort of stick there behind that green car, sorry, I don't know the name. So head down into turn 3.
Yeah, look at that. Straight away, Jaeger goes the high line, and he's got Sadler and Fullerton going with him.
Yeah, they're stuck nose together here. They're going to try and use this draft to their advantage early.
And yeah, so we've got a four car pack for the lead.
Yeah, they don't do that. Fullerton tries to go for the lead himself. He's going to sort of come out second best as Jaeger tries to squeeze the outside of Edward. Can't do it. Sadler's going to take that spot.
Well, if they pinch Jaeger down low, he'll lose out because the high line's where it's at.
Yeah, it looks that way. He's got a pretty decent run going through here. I think Edward might clear him on the outside, but Jaeger's got the very inside line here. Still stick side by side.
Yeah, it just seems to be that pace, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the inside looks like it's going to work a little bit for the first couple of laps. So Fullerton pulls on right at the back. He got Priest making a big run down the inside of Fullerton.
Yeah, I think Fullerton will be fairly safe up there if he stays high. It's funny, as you go into turn 3, it seems to work for you, but coming out of 4, you just drop straight back, don't you?
Yeah, you do. It's almost like an old slingshot move you want to do. Sort of sling along the side and try and get up and squeeze into that gap.
Speaking of slingshots, Jaeger's going up the inside of Foster again. I thought he'd already tried that to no avail, but he's probing. He's making sure that he knows he's there.
Yeah, 100%. Edwards is going to keep that high line, sort of keep his tyres clean. As Jaeger keeps doing that, Edwards just going to run away from him.
Well, it's been fairly clean so far at the other end of the thing. We've only lost 2 drivers, which is Troy Price and Nick Shields. I didn't see what happened to them. It didn't bring out the caution, so...
Yeah, not too sure what happened there. I've been keeping a close eye on the front.
Yeah, same.
I'll go and have a look.
You could spend your day going backwards and forwards. There's that much going on, but I'm just sticking at the front here because Jaeger's really hanging on to Foster here, and he's trying to make this draft work for him. Sadler and Fullerton aren't far behind him, so looks like got a whole bunch of cars down on the apron. We have got our first yellow. Hello, what's happened here?
Oh, yeah, big crash, 5, 6 cars. I'll go back and have a look.
Looks like we might have Walker, Hamilton, Dillon, possibly even Skurlock involved in that one, if I have a look at the timing charts.
Yeah, so what happened is, looks like Aaron Dillon's sort of run up on the side of Brendan Hamilton. They've come together and spun head into turn 3, taking out Riley. And then it just sort of everyone piled up behind them on the outside. Got a big wreck.
Ah, what a shame for those guys. There's a couple of quick guys in there too.
There's a fast repair. Looks like a fast repair limit, so they'll be able to get back on track at least.
They get one. But interestingly, the front guys aren't pitting yet, so we're working lap 6. So obviously tyres aren't a problem just yet. They're hanging on okay. Although, no, having said that, as we come across, Foster goes in. Looks like, is that... Oh, okay. So Fullerton and Sadler are staying out.
Yeah.
Is that Marwood staying out as well? It is. Terry Marwood, George Fullerton, and Gavin Sadler. That's a very interesting tactic.
It also looks like Troy Price has stayed on field there, but it looks like Edward probably he hasn't lost too many positions, so he gets his 4 tyres, comes out here. Yeah, those guys might be in trouble. You sort of, I mean, 4 or 5 laps here is usually the pinning point, but we'll see what happens.
It is. Well, just having a look here now to see who else has stayed out.
Nick Walsh
looks like nobody.
Yeah, you're right. Some of these cars are taking a long time to pit. Nick Walsh has won the battle off pit road. Edward's come out 3rd best. Yeah, actually, it's going to be pretty interesting for Edward here.
Looks like Darren Lord might have jumped out first, didn't he? No, you're right. Nick Walsh. Nick Walsh, yeah. Yeah, but some of those other guys seem to take forever.
Yeah, it must be that old Falcon, like I said. It's unreal.
No. It's only a couple of them running it, and that's Fullerton and Sadler. So, and I believe Marwood. So
could be 2 tyre stops then.
No. The other guys are running the later gen Falcons and Commodores. Interesting tactic here, though, considering I've heard Sadler say a few times now that tyres go away really quick in this old Falcon. So I'm very surprised.
Yeah, he's saving graces. He's got a teammate up there with him, so if them two can just sort of get in the line on the top and make sure that nobody can get underneath them, you know, they can push on for a handful of laps.
Very true, very true. But having said that, though, yeah, Sadler's just going to have to trust that Fullerton's going to let him back up high pretty quickly going into turn 1 and 2, isn't he?
Yeah, teammates. I'm sure they'll have this orchestrated. Sort of, Sadler will tell him exactly when he's going to go, and they'll try and orchestrate that move to get up behind each other.
Well, you would think so, because you've got Terry Marwood behind him now. Marwood won last week's race at Texas, and he's always very, very quick. So, you know, Sadler will be thinking to himself, I guess, all right, well, can't really muck around. I've got Marwood behind me, and he's going to pounce pretty quick if he even gets a sniff of this.
Yeah, he definitely will.
So where's this left our early race leader, Foster? He's down in 7th by the looks of it. He's got Dave Douglas with him there, his teammate. Raymond Yeager, Jackson Callow and Dwayne Priest, Riley Curtis. Those guys have all dropped down all the way down into between 7th and 12th. So still, the effective lead, I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell until we see how these first 4 guys that didn't pit fare, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think we're actually meant to get the green flag that lap, but James Robbie was having a moment there in turn 3 by himself. The safety car stayed out for 1 more lap.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw him out of shape. We'll go back and have a look and see what's gone wrong. Yeah, no, I'm not too sure. He's just very slow on the apron. But he seems to be a touch out of shape in turn 3. I think he gets on the gas and heads straight for the wall. But I'm not sure why that would have delayed the restart.
All right. Well, hopefully the pace car will come off at the end of this lap. Looks like the lights are out.
Yeah, should do.
They're all forming up there, just coming up the back straight. Just coming into 3.
There's a lot of these lads racing team cars.
Yeah, they're everywhere, aren't they? It's like they're breeding.
Yeah.
Alright, so as we come around turn 4, the pace car pulls in. Sadler's control over, away he goes early, he's gone.
And it was orchestrated pretty good. Fullerton can slot in behind him, probably doesn't have to because Gav's going to take the outside line here, I'd imagine, through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Fullerton might go for the lead himself. And here comes Marwood. Marwood goes for the lead, takes it for a split second.
Yep, as I said to you. Yep, exactly. He's always quick. So, looking back there, what is that? 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Looks like there's a hell of a battle. They're 3 wide up there going into turn 3 and 4.
They're still side by side, 2 wide. Riley caught in the back of that. Riley's got a fast car tonight. We've seen that earlier. He's going to be trying to make some inroads here.
But at the moment, the battle for the lead's pretty hot. Sadler's probing and pushing behind Marwood. Marwood seems to like that lower line, low to middle, whereas Sadler and Fullerton are sticking to that high line, especially out of turn 2.
Yeah, he's just guarding that inside line a little bit. But Edward now, he's worked his way up into 4th. He's pulling a gap on the battle between 5th and 6th. Edward should be back up here in a number of laps on his fresh tyres. We'll see how that lasts.
Dave Douglas there, looks like he was struggling back there behind Nick Walsh. Having a bit of a moment.
Yeah, he is on the outside. He's losing positions here.
Yeah, I just caught him out the corner of my eye. It looked like he just got a little bit loose off 4. But Marwood's actually managed to gap Sadler here. When I say gap, I mean, 0.25 of a second, but here it seems to be quite a gap.
Yeah, it's a good 3 car lengths. Sadler coming up with a good run though, coming off turn 4. He's going to get right behind him by the end of the front stretch.
Yeah, so as we work lap 13 of 75, it seems to be a battle between these guys, and not getting those tyres doesn't seem to have affected them too much. Although, having said that, as soon as the screen shifts over, I see Foster closing up rapidly on the back of Fullerton, and he's bringing a whole train behind him. Yeah,
he's bringing Walsh, Callow, Dave Douglas and crew. They're still fighting 2 wide in turn 3. They're going to get there in about, I reckon, about 3 laps. And then we're going to see if they can actually make the moves to get into the front. But Marwood's just very impressive.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. He's been quick all series. He's had a bit of bad luck, but he's been really, really quick.
Yeah, that's good to see. Edward now on the back of Fullerton. Yeah, he's pretty much there now. This is going to be quite interesting.
Well, Fullerton's just hanging off the back of Sadler here. I would have thought he'd be a little bit closer up to try and draft up to the back of Fullerton.
Yeah, they're just staying in line, but I mean, Edward can't mess around here because he's got Nick Walsh, teammate Callow behind him too. So if he starts to stall a little bit, these guys are going to try and get past him too. Edward can't mess around. He's right on the back of Fullerton here, down the back stretch. I don't know if he'll make a move into turn 3. He's having a sneak. He's looking out. He's peeking. He's not going to do it though. He'll have a good run off turn 4, I'd say.
Well, if Fullerton hangs onto that high line, Foster's going to have a hell of a lot of trouble getting above him.
He really gets a touch better drive out of turn 4. See if he tries to dive bomb down turn 1 here. Seen that stick.
Nope.
No, I think he's saving grace. The 2 teammates behind him are also racing for position. He looks like he gets a good run out of turn 2.
Well, Callow's now past Walsh, and again, Callow's always been quick too in this series. So him and Foster, no love lost there. They've had a few incidents together here, so they had one last week as well. So I don't really think that Callow's going to be too keen to mess with Foster tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. He's pretty much there too. Foster on the inside of Fullerton. And he's going to easily take that, yeah. He's got to slide now, do the slide job. He's trying to do the slide job, and he gets there.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if those tyres didn't hurt,
Yeah, well, especially on the long run. Oh, Fullerton right up the back, right behind Foster. But yeah, on the long run, these fresh tyres are definitely going to have their advantage. And I think Foster's taking the advantage now, and you can see it.
Look, Fullerton could hang on down the back straight, but as soon as you go to a turn, he just loses ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's going to drop like a rock.
It's like Dwayne Priest and Riley Curtis having a ding-dong battle back there. They're in 9th and 10th. Steve Williams is all over them as well.
Yeah, he is. Williams on the inside. He gets loose though. He might wreck it on the front backstretch. No, he sort of pulls it up though. Going to lose a lot of momentum though.
Well, Foster's now pulling up very, very quickly on the back of Sadler, and he's just poking his nose down the inside, and he's bringing Callow with him.
Yeah, and he should get this move done here in turn 1. He's definitely going to have the grip, trying the slide job. Not quite there yet. He can slide up now, which he's going to try and do. No, he stays his line.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, now he's going to start trying to work on the back of Marwood.
Yeah, and Sadler's well under fire from Callow, isn't he?
He is, but Fullerton's actually done a really good job there. I mean, he stayed in... Oh no, sorry. No, it is Fullerton. Yeah, he stayed up there. I thought he was going to drop like a stone. He must have just had a moment there for a little bit. Lost a little bit.
Catch him back up on the back of Callow. Bet Sadler will be hoping he can, so he can try and take a bit of pressure off.
Yeah, and at this stage we've probably gone like 10 laps now, and yeah, 10 plus laps. These tyres have probably started to even out a little bit. And these guys really aren't struggling anymore, or as much as I thought they would. Yeah, Callow working with Gavin Sadler here. Going to try and look at Edward too. I think yeah, he's probably going to have a bit of a tough time on the inside here. He holds it pretty well though.
As long as he does, as long as these guys that didn't pit stay on the high line, they seem to be able to hold the momentum quite well. But as soon as they start to get pinched down, they just lose positions.
Yeah, they do. Jackson almost clears him in turn 1 and 2. He might have a touch of room here on the back stretch. I don't think so. Sadler's getting the draft off the 53. I'm surprised Edward actually hasn't made as many grounds as he has on the leader.
Yeah, he's just got to try and just get a bit of momentum going, and he's just got to get into the draft of Marwood so he can pull up on the back of him.
Yeah, these tyres definitely seem to have evened out. Sadler's making aggressive moves on the inside of Callow.
Yeah, it looks like he might... Oh, no, Callow's going to have the speed off the turn, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He might lose a fair bit of momentum here. Going to slot in line, though.
Well, the guys that pitted are now got, what, 16 laps on their tyres, and the other guys have got 22. So it's interesting to see them moving out, actually.
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't seem to be bothering Sadler or Fulton at all. They're still stuck in 4th and 5th. They've lost a little bit of grip there early. They're definitely staying in line. Gisbergen too. I think he's starting to make his way into the fray here.
Yeah, he's up into 9th, actually. He's moved up 11 places so far, and right now he's making a move on Priest. And he's able to make that low line work for him too, strangely.
Yeah, he's going to try and sneak up in front of Priest. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Priest's going to get the good run on the front stretch.
Gee whiz, I tell you what, Fullerton's holding that gap. He's still got a 0.3 lead over Foster, and Foster really seems to be struggling to catch back up onto him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's taking that sort of one line or half line lower. But I mean, Edward's got a decent run here. This is the closest he's been for a few laps. But yeah, Marwood definitely has the inside line here sort of worked out.
Yeah, he's just able to hold that gap. And look, as we come across the line to work lap 25, 50 laps to go. Foster's definitely closed up on that lap. He's pulled in about 2/10 in that lap.
Yeah, he's definitely getting there, isn't he? About 3 car lengths behind, sort of poking his nose out on the inside, but yeah, he's definitely there.
Like you said, 5 laps doesn't sound a lot, but when it comes to wear, you'd have to think it's starting to hurt these guys a little bit more now, wouldn't you?
Oh, you would, yeah.
So Foster's almost there. He'll be just getting into that really prime draft area for Fullerton. But see, Fullerton keeps breaking up by dropping down low. He's definitely playing the game well, isn't he?
Yeah, Terry Marwood.
You're right too, Terry Marwood. We're all allowed a few mistakes, Daddy.
Oh, we are. All good, all good. got a good run here, Foster.
Well, Marwood tried to hold the low line then. It doesn't seem to have worked too well for him.
No, the longer this run goes on, sort of the top will sort of come in. But he's trying. He's not sort of giving up. He's standing his ground, and he gets that gap sort of through the corners on the inside. He's taking the shorter way around the track. But yeah, Foster gets those good runs down the back stretch and the front stretch, especially the front stretch.
Yeah, Marwood seems to be really quick out of turn 2 down the back straight. That's where he seems to have his speed and where he's managing to keep this gap. Whereas Foster just goes that little bit higher out of 4 and just seems to get the run.
Yeah, he does. Just behind him, Callow was up. He probably brushed the wall. He's lost a lot of momentum. Sadler's on the inside of him.
Yeah, looks like Callow's going to take that one. Ooh, Sadler was a little bit loose again. Yeah, Callow's got that. Well, right behind them, there's that rainbow car again, Van Gisbergen up into 8th. He's just absolutely picking them off, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's been a good race. Judging by the other couple of races, I wasn't too sure, but these guys are definitely racing hard, but it's nice and clean at the moment. We're working lap 29 at the moment, almost halfway.
And we haven't looked too many either, which has been good. Only had the one caution. That's how we like to see it run.
Yeah, clean long runs, green flag runs. They're pretty fun to watch. So just sort of see who can handle it over the long distance as opposed to the short distance. But all these guys have pretty much been stagnant in the same spot, so they've all got the right speed. They're all very close. But Sadler, he's making a move on Callow on the outside. I don't think he's going to get that done though.
No, he just doesn't look to have that outright raw speed that he had at the start anymore. I think I'd say he's praying for a caution here, Danny. Just wanting tyres at this point. Yeah,
I think pretty much all the drivers would be wanting tyres except for Edward, but Edward's actually lost a bit more ground now to Marwood. His tyres have definitely evened out, and Edward's struggling to catch him.
Well, the gap's now almost 0.5. Oh,
yeah, so he's fallen back.
Callow just have a moment then?
Yeah, he's done that a couple of laps in a row.
No, Sadler just went by him like he was standing still, so I'm wondering if he didn't just get out of shape back there.
Yeah, he did the lap before coming out of turn 2, so same spot, trouble spot.
Well,
this is going to break those two cars up though, between Fullerton and Sadler.
It is.
Yeah, I'm surprised Edward can't sort of get up there and battle him.
Just doesn't seem to be able to just get that little bit extra on him, does he?
No, not yet.
I mean, there's only, what, a tenth or less between their lap times each lap, and it's just holding steady at about a 0.3 second gap. So there's absolutely nothing in it.
No, and behind them you got Jackson Callow still all over Fullerton, who's actually made that move, so he's back behind his teammate, and Gisbergen up into 6th.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Callow did just touch the wall earlier and he's just got that slightest little bit of damage which is just hindering him a bit. He was coming through like a steam train until then, and now it seems to be he's able to hold up there but just doesn't have that outright speed now. Yeah,
I'm just having a good look at his car. It doesn't seem to be too banged up at all. I can't see any marks. So yeah, he must have just probably got a little bit loose. Got Van Gisbergen all over the back of him though.
Well, the other thing to remember too, all these guys back here from about 4th backwards have all been fighting really, really hard. So they've all got 33, 34 laps on their tyres, yeah? Well, sorry, 28 laps on their tyres, I should say.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty significant. That's about half a run.
Yeah. And when you're battling, you're using up more of your tyre as well, of course, whereas the first 3 or 4 guys have just been able to run their preferred lines. But Marwood, he's not sure, we might have missed something there, but he's, 0.9 out in front of Foster now, so I wonder if Foster had a bit of a moment, or Fullerton's just, Marwood's just found some time.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I was just having a look at Dave Douglas. He's on pit road, or so he's coming off pit road now, but he's just about to lose his car coming off pit road. He's in the grass, he has lost it, and he's coming up the track in turn 2. He's out of yellow. I think he's got a fair bit of right front damage, but yeah, he's just lost control of his car. Luckily no one else is involved.
That was just a single car, was it?
Yeah.
I was up the front watching what's going on here, trying to work out why Foster was dropping back. Marvel was driving away. So, well, if they come in and pit, it's certainly going to even things up. I think Marwood's come in, has he?
Yeah, he has.
He's on pit road. Yeah.
Not too sure. I don't know if pit road was open. Everybody else has stayed out.
We'll find out because you'll have to do a stop-go if he has.
Yeah, it's a big mistake if he has, but it just looks like everybody else has stayed out, so I'm not too sure why they would have stayed out. Marwood's car looks fine to me.
Well, he needed tyres. He's one of the few that hadn't, and in they all come now. So, interesting call you just made there, Danny. I wonder if he did come in when it was closed. Oh, we nearly have nose-to-tail action coming into the pits.
Yeah, these cars look great coming down pit road with the headlights on. It's really cool.
Well, Carlo nearly drove straight through Van Gisbergen. And looks like Van Gisbergen might have just had a bit of a problem in his pit box then.
Yeah, he went in a little bit sideways. Just looking at Edward, he's nailed it. Took a couple of goes, but he's in there.
Well, it's one of the places where we quite often see people having dramas and losing
Gisbergen's
their
out.
spots.
Gisbergen made up a lot of ground.
He has, hasn't he? Foster's won the race out, though.
He has. So we'll just end up seeing what happens to Marwood here. He's just passed both of them, but I'm sort of expecting to see him sort of drop back through the field coming in too early and probably cop that penalty.
Yeah, he'll either get a drop to the back of the field or he'll have to come through for a stop-go. Haven't seen that happen too much before, so I'm not entirely certain which penalty will be given.
Here comes Foster on the outside, so he's given up that position. So yeah, it looks like he's going to have to come in. I mean, I've done this myself before in another series, and yeah, it's just a brain dead move. But sort of learn from them and move on.
Yeah, sadly, I think you nailed it there. We've all done it, and yeah, I'm pretty sure the penalty is a stop-go, isn't it? No, he's staying out there, so maybe it's just dropped to the rear field. Oh, that's a shame because he had the pace, didn't he?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be fun watching him come through the field. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get there.
Well, I'm just having a look now. Dave Douglas is just in front of Foster. Let's have a look here. When did he last pit? Yeah, okay. So he pitted just before everybody else. Well, wonder if he's just undercut everybody here.
I don't know if he's undercut work because he was the car on pit road, and as he left pit road, he's the one that spun to bring out the caution. So he I don't think he gained too much time from that spin.
No, he's 2 laps down actually. Yeah, no, he didn't gain anything. He's 2 laps down, so he'll get the wave around, I'd say.
What this has done is brought Stephen Williams and Raymond Jaeger back up to the mix, along with Van Gisbergen. So it's definitely going to heat up here. We're just over halfway now, or at halfway. So yeah, good race to come.
Yeah, well, we're just behind the safety car here on lap 38, so I'm guessing we'll go green in about 2 laps' time. But you're right, yeah, Stephen Williams, Raymond Jaeger, Brendan Hamilton's back up there again after that earlier little mishap. Dwayne Priest is back up there in 6th.
I think Callow was the one that sort of lost out there. He's went out in 10th. And Michael Skurlock in 11th, haven't spoken about him tonight. And Sadler, he's come out in 12th.
Yeah, Cesar's Fullerton's right behind him. I think Norman Clark as well uses the old Falcon. There you go, slower pit stop.
Yeah, true.
It's got a slightly smaller tank, and it's the way it refuels and changes tyres separately, I believe, that makes it a slower stop.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm happy to be corrected if anyone else out there can correct me.
Well, they are lined up side by side, so I'm not sure if we're getting the green flag this time around or not. The lights are out on the safety car, so we are going green.
Yeah, yep, so it looks like Van Gisbergen's just hanging back there. They've all taken tyres by the looks of it, but we'll soon find out. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't really see the change on camera, so I'm not sure if they all took tyres, but surely they all took tyres. But Van Gisbergen did jump everyone, didn't he?
Yeah, he might have just taken fuel.
That's a bit of a flawed strategy, you'd have to think. Sure.
have to find out soon. Here we go.
Right, so pace car's off. Yeah, he goes. I tell you what though, Van Gisbergen's gone with him.
Yeah, he's right behind him. Steve Williams couldn't get going on the inside line.
No, he's going to get swamped.
He's having a look for the lead in turn 1.
And he's got it. Too. No, he's got tyres. There's no way he didn't take tyres as well.
He has to have tyres.
Wonder if he's short fuel.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Well, at the moment, Foster's got his hands full because he's got a raging pack behind him here. He's got, what, Williams, Hamilton all over him, although he's coming back at Van Gisbergen now, so going up high on him. He's going to try and pinch him down low. Oh, no! Who's that? Is that Jaeger and Williams? Right, well, it brings out our third caution.
Just going to go back now and see. Brendan Hamilton was definitely involved. Steve Williams, James Robbie involved.
Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a look back now. So they crossed the line to go up into 1.
Looks like Raymond Jaeger.
Looks like Jaeger might have come down a little bit on Hamilton.
Yeah, he probably was a bit worried about Williams on his outside and sort of came down a little bit there and caused the accident.
He did too. He came down slightly on Hamilton and took them both out. And it's taken Williams and Skurlock out, the 2 teammates as well. What a shame.
Yeah, I'm sure Jaeger would have his fast repair, but he's got a blown engine. He's going to lose a lap anyway, so it's disappointing for him. He's just going through the grass now in turn 4. He's just been lapped.
Well, there was half a dozen other cars got involved in that too at the end, unfortunately. Right, well that's taken a few of them out, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. We'll see if they use their fast repair until he comes back out. But it's going to mix the field up again. I don't expect the leaders to pit.
No, you'd think they'd stay out. I mean, they stayed out on 6 lap old tyres before. It didn't seem to hurt them, so... so where does that leave us now? Shane Van Gisbergen leading from Edward Foster, Stacey Walker, Dwayne Priest, and what's that? Jackson Callow in 5th, is it? Yeah, a whole bunch of green cars.
And Gisbergen sort of shot out like he had 4 fresh tyres, but when he came off turn 4, it looked like he didn't have 4 fresh tyres at all.
I just can't honestly believe. I wish I could go all the way back and have a look because I just can't believe he didn't take tyres. No way. Well, we'll find out soon enough because his tyres will just disappear from out from under him. But it looks like we've lost a few guys out of that last incident, unfortunately. And we've got Riley Curtis, Aaron Dillon, Troy Price, James Robbie. There's a few of them in the pits at the moment. A few guys that have just gone a lap down as well in was that Stephen Williams and Nick Walsh. So anyway, a bit unfortunate. Those guys were doing okay until then.
It is, but this has sort of brought Stacey Walker up into 3rd, so that's good to see. We haven't talked about him tonight. We've got Dwayne Priest behind him, and Jackson Callow, Darren Lord, Gavin Sadler. So it's going to be a pretty decent race still. I couldn't imagine what Edward's feeling at the moment. He's got pretty high caliber driver in front of him. He's going to be trying to race him pretty hard.
Yeah, he is, and might just be my screen, but is Stacey Walker carrying rear end damage?
Yeah, confirmed. He is. It's a slight bit. Doesn't actually. Yeah, he does. Doesn't have his wing. Doesn't have anything.
Well, that'll make it interesting for him because he's got Priest backed up behind him and Jackson Callow, his teammate. So,
I expect this thing to be all over the track.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, it just didn't look right. I thought, no, that's not right. Yeah. Glad it's not just me seeing things.
Yeah, no, his boots off, his wings off. Yeah, we'll see the iRacing physics in action here. But yeah, I think that car will be all over the place.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. So I'm just trying to zoom in now and see if the safety car lights are on. They're not lining up, so I'm guessing that they're still on. Yeah,
safety car lights are still on. We'll probably get 1 to go this lap.
Yeah, so this is lap 44. So we've still got 30 odd laps to go. Still a fair chunk of laps to make your tyres hang in there.
There is, because he's sort of faking for the pits, but he doesn't go down.
Yeah, no, I think the guys behind him have been around a little bit too long to fall for that one.
Yeah, so we've been told Gisbergen's stop was 10 seconds, so we're not too sure what he's taken. If it was 2 tyres, no tyres, not sure.
Well, certainly be fascinating to see how it plays out. Yeah, 10 seconds isn't a long stop for 4 tyres and the full fuel needed to get to the end, so...
No, not at all, but pace car lights are out, field's 2 by 2, they're set for the restart.
Alright, so we just wait for the safety car to pull back in now.
And Dave Douglas he's back on the lead lap, so that's good to see.
Okay, because he was showing us 2 laps down earlier.
He's back there in the 12th position. And Norman Clark running in this series. In 11th, that's good to see too.
Yep, nope, Norman Clark's there. Alright, so as we go up into 3 and 4, Van Gisbergen will lead them away with Foster beside him. And this is where we'll find out if Stacey Walker's able to hang on with all that damage. Oh, a little bit of bump and grind a little bit further back there. Looks like, is that Sadler and Maxfield?
Yeah, I think Riley got in the back of Sadler. Gisbergen sort of faking when he's going to go. Edward tried to get the jump, couldn't do it.
Oh, he's gone. He's run early, yeah. Well, Van Gisbergen certainly got the jump on the lot of them then.
He has, as they almost wreck into turn 1. Down further in the pack, going 3 wide. But yeah, we'll just have a look in to see what Gisbergen can do, because he got another good jump, but he lost a lot of speed. But look at Stacey Walker, without that wing, he's holding up pretty well in 2nd place here. He's about to go in the middle 3 wide.
Yeah, he's definitely the cork in the bottle by the looks of it, isn't he? The nervous one, I think, right now will be Foster, being up on the high line with 2 below him.
Yeah, but that's just where Gisbergen doesn't seem to have those tyres that we're talking about. He lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're catching him. Look at Walker. Look at the speed he's got out of there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That just looks really odd, that car.
Yeah, well, it's missing the back half of the car, so yeah, it does look odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's holding his ground well on the inside, Edward on the outside. Yeah, they're filing up behind them too. Everyone behind them. Riley, Curtis just got up into the wall.
Yeah, he's hung on to it, but he would have done a fair bit of damage, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. He's about to go on the outside 3 wide here in turn 1, and Stacey Walker still battling on the inside. I can't believe this.
Yeah, and Curtis just got bumped by...
Oh, there is a wreck.
Curtis.
Oh,
and Stacey Walker. Oh, it's everywhere. Where do you look? Where do you look? Right, it's all started back there with, looks like Marwood and Curtis had a big one. I'm just going back now to have a look how that all started, because there was someone down the inside of them. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, it was Fulton was on the inside, and Marwood's gotten into Fulton and sort of bounced off him straight back up into Riley Curtis. Unfortunately, he got in the way, but big shout out to Stacey Walker. He had a huge moment in turn, not on the straight itself, basically, and he saved that. It was a good save.
Yeah, it looked pretty spectacular, and without a wing, that's a pretty cool save there. So I'm just going back now, having a look, and okay, yeah, so it just looks like Fullerton and Marwood just got together on the low line, and yeah, Curtis was just the unfortunate victim up there. There was someone behind him there too. Was that Dave Douglas?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, Dave Douglas got caught up in that as well, so a bit unfortunate for Dave. He just seems to cop it every race. He's always just the innocent bystander, the poor bugger.
Ooh, Edward stayed out. The field's pretty much, except for Dwayne Priest. Dwayne Priest and Edward Foster have stayed out. The rest of the field's come down.
Right, interesting strategy.
Yeah, now we'll see how long Van Gisbergen's stop is. Yeah, again, about 9-10 seconds.
Yep, 11 seconds, exactly. Well, he must be taking the tyres and fuel. I mean, but he just seems to be getting out so much quicker than everybody else, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
And considering that he came into his pit bay sideways last time and he was still able to make that jump, interesting.
Yeah, well, there is that sort of bit of lag. If you can hit your pits exactly on the spot, your tyres will get changed straight away. But if you don't, a little bit forward, a little bit far back, you can be waiting 1.5, 2 seconds sometimes. That makes a difference.
It does, and that's what makes it all the more astonishing that he got out so quick over everybody.
Yeah, I'd say he hit those marks even though he was sideways.
Well, looks like he may have, but anyway, he's had another quick stop. I'm just having a look at everyone else's pit stop times here. Foster's was 10 seconds. Priest's was, 13?
Oh, they didn't pit. There's actually a few that didn't pit, though. You got
No,
Foster,
they didn't either, yeah.
Foster, Priest, Nick Walsh, Todd Maxfield, Raymond Yeager, Norman Clarkson now just coming down pit road, but all those cars didn't pit, except for Norman. So you got...
Yeah, Foster, Priest and Maxfield, yeah.
Yeah, so 5 cars and old tyres. But from what I've seen from Gav Sadler, I don't think Edward's in bad shape because he's only had about, 4 or 5 green flag laps. And this is running down now. I've only got 24 laps to go.
Yeah, so Foster, Priest and Maxfield have got 4. Well, they're going just about to put the 13th lap on their tyres now. So Carlo had a quick one as well. His stop was only 11 seconds. Walker's was 13, so he had that little bit of damage, although it doesn't appear to have been fixed. So we're running out of cars on the lead lap here too.
Yeah, we've got 14 at the moment.
Yeah, the last car on the lead lap right now is... Oh, it's showing Riley Curtis, but I don't know that that's right. Because Riley Curtis is at the pits.
Yeah, so he's just in pit lane. I think he's just crossed the start-finish line. He's where his pit box is. But he's got a lot of damage, so he's definitely getting repairs.
Yeah. Alright, we'll wait till they come across again and this will shake itself out.
Yeah, got Michael Skurlock just exiting pit road now. Also Aaron Dillon's on pit road getting repairs. Dave Douglas. The pace car is off turn 4. He's coming across the start-finish line. These cars are going to want to go, but I think they might have a little bit too much damage. And they do, and they go down a lap.
Yeah, Skurlock's managed to hang on to the lead lap.
Yeah, his car didn't look too bad. I'll go and have a look at it.
He had a fair bit of damage from one of the first incidents, Danny. It looked pretty bad. He had a fair bit of front-end damage.
Okay, yeah, I'm just having a look at him now. Yeah, right front damage.
Yep.
Pretty much a whole panel missing.
Yep.
But if it's anything from what I've seen from Stacey Walker's car, yeah, this guy's got a shot still.
So where are they sitting right now? Where have they come out? So we've got Foster and Priest up front. Darren Lord and Shane Van Gisbergen. So Darren Lord had a pretty good win out of the pits too. He's managed to jump Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, he did. I think he was one of the ones that didn't pit. No, he had to have.
No, yep, he pitted. Yep.
Lights are off. They're about to go green.
Alright, so we're on lap 52. So we've only got 23 laps to run. So it's almost going to be a sprint, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. See Edward now, he sort of holds him up. When's he going to go? He's gone. He's got a good gap. Fullerton didn't get a good run on the high side. Van Gisbergen, he's already up to second.
Yep, he's running with him. So Priest and Callow there, the two teammates directly in behind Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, look at the run Gisbergen gets just early on. That first corner, I don't think he lifts.
No, I don't think he does either. I think he just absolutely floors it and runs.
Edward battling hard on the outside. Is that Callow? It is Callow hunting for second there too. He's in the mix all of a sudden. Callow's always fast, whatever he drives. It's going to be a good race. Edward on the high side, he gets a good run. Gizzy blocks Edward. Edward's still on the outside. He gets it on the outside. We'll see what happens.
3 wide for the lead.
Oh, and Gisbergen just drives it on in there.
Yep, and he holds onto it. Callow couldn't maintain the momentum on the low line, which is actually going to give his teammate Priest a run on him now. He's got Sadler all over him as well.
And Maxfield's in the infield grass on the front stretch, but keeping back with the leaders. But Gisbergen out front. But Edward just seems to get a much better run off turn 4, but he doesn't have much to say in turn 1 and 2. Gisbergen blocks Edward up into the wall, and both going to lose some momentum.
Yeah, it's like Callow get all over the back of Foster now, but well, Van Gisbergen's got the right to hold his line. You know, it's just very effective though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's kind of bottling them all up, but they can't get past him.
Yeah, I know. But Edward, he's struggling. But he comes off turn 4 so well. Look at him. He gets such a good run. He's going to try the outside again. Will he? No, he fakes. Well, you got Callow faking everywhere. He goes on the inside. He wants nothing to do with this. He's going to try and go for the lead himself.
Oh, well, he's going to take that position from Foster. But, you know, if I was Foster, I'd let Callow go and try and harass Van Gisbergen and see if they can maybe open the road up for him, so to speak.
Yeah, well, these guys are just battling all over the place. And Sadler's all the way back up at a second. He tries the slide job. Coming off turn 4 and getting in line, he does. Callow's going to have a great run on the inside. No, Sadler blocks. Callow to the outside. That sort of stalls out that run too.
Well, while Callow and Foster were running, Sadler just snuck on by, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Like you said, if these two have got some history.
They do. Quite a bit of history.
Good to see. I love it.
Although pretty much everyone in this field's got a bit of history, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I'll tell you what, Stephen Williams is coming back up there now in behind Dwayne Priest. I thought he was out of it for everything after the last caution, yeah.
Yeah, so did I. He just found the wall. He's going to lose a bit of momentum here. You got Sadler working on the back of Gisbergen here into turn 1. Going to try and pull out, Willie. Oh, it's a great 5-car battle here for the lead.
Well, Van Gisbergen seems to be able to just hold that line where no one can get past him. So we'll see if Sadler's got anything for him now, because no one else has done.
No, not at all. Sadler gets to the back of him in turn 3. See if he gets a good run. Just a bit concerned about Gisbergen's run off turn 4. It just hasn't been happening all night. Yeah, Sadler even gets a massive run. Goes to the inside. We'll see what happens here. Going into turn 1, Sadler's got a... There.
Well, I thought Callow was going to try and go up in between them then, you know.
Yeah, Sadler just couldn't slide up in front. Definitely the high line's working at the moment.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of momentum.
It's been working all night, hasn't it? Like, that inside line, you seem to get that initial run in, but then coming out, you just lose too much.
Yeah, Sadler's dropped back to 4th here, under attack now. Stacey Walker and Dwayne Priest, well, not Stacey Walker, but he's managed to stay up where he is in 6th. He's probably holding just until the end of the draft there, but I don't know if he's going to go forward before that damage.
Yeah, that's Priest on the back of...
and Sadler's having a big moment.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's dropped him way out of it now, for now. As we work lap 60 of 75, we've got 15 to go. Callow's trying, isn't he? He's just looking for that little bit of a way to keep that pressure on Van Gisbergen, hoping that he'll just get that run. I know Foster's sitting there thinking, yep, can you guys do it for me?
Yeah, that is the easiest way. Ooh, Carlo gets a bit loose coming off too. Foster into the back of him.
Yeah. Thankfully it hasn't cost too much, although Foster's just slipped back a little bit towards Priest, but...
There's not a wrinkle on his car though.
That's a lot.
Caution,
So.
big caution, big crash that's coming out of turn 4. We got... Who is that? Looks like Darren Lord. Darren Lord's had a bit of a moment. Actually, no, it's Sadler. He's just gotten loose through coming out of turn 4 and he's spun it down towards the inside grass, picked up Darren Lord. Those cars have all had a big moment. Cars sort of bounce off them all over the place on the front stretch.
Oh, yeah, and a couple of guys have just driven straight into him after that, haven't they, as they come down onto the start-finish line, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because we're going to have about less than 10 laps, probably 9 laps to go, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone comes down pit road here.
Actually, no, we've got him after the caution, yeah.
Gisbergen's pitted, Callow's on pit road, Priest, Walker. I don't think Edward has.
Still out there.
No, Edward Yeager stayed out.
Alright, well Foster's got 26 laps on these tyres.
Yeah, Norman Clark's also stayed out. He pitted last time though.
Alright, interesting strategy from Foster. He obviously thinks the car feels strong enough just to go.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. He's got Norman Clark, Terry Marwood, Fullerton behind him. They didn't pit. I'm pretty sure Skurlock didn't pit either. So he's going to have a bit of a buffer. So he might actually get this done. If those cars can hold up the cars with the 4 fresh tyres, I think Edward's sitting pretty here.
Well, most of the guys behind him right now are carrying a fair bit of damage too, so they're not going to have the outright speed, you wouldn't think.
No, yeah, they definitely are. Edward's car looks clean. He did get up at the back of Callow, but it doesn't look to have put a wrinkle on his Holden.
No, but everybody behind him, Lord, Clark, Marwood, Fullett and Skurlock, those guys have all been involved in multiple incidents tonight, so I guess this was their only roll of the dice to stay up front of the train, wasn't it? Is just don't pit and hope for the best.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Marwood's car looks good. He's obviously gone in and got that fast repair. Norman's car's got a touch of a wrinkle on the right front. He's actually pitting now. He also brings Fullerton with him, along with Todd Maxfield.
Yeah. Well, it certainly doesn't look like Foster or Lord are going to pit, does it? Or Marwood or Skurlock?
No, so you're going to have Foster, Lord, Marwood and Skurlock on the older tyres. Shane Van Gisbergen on his fresh tyres with the rest of the field coming up behind.
Well, if Foster can get a fairly decent jump on the field off the start, but having said that though, we've seen Van Gisbergen manage to just absolutely drive up the inside of everybody off the restarts.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to have to be an awesome restart by Foster. He's going to have to be pretty aggressive and drive a little bit harder than he has been because Gisbergen, if he does what he's been doing, he's going to sort of go on the inside and pick up a lot of spots. What
would you do, Danny? Would you try and back him up as you're coming down through 3 and then just go early, or...?
There's definitely some sportsmanship involved in these restarts. You do try and fake the guy to the outside. It's hard to sort of say. I don't know, Edward's sort of been choosing his marks when to go. He's been going early, he's been going late, so he's sort of switching that up, so you're not too sure when he's going to go. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Edward likes to sort of pinch the guy on the outside or the inside a little bit and then put his foot down and get a good run.
Yeah. The best opportunity to do that here would be coming out of 3, back them up and then just go, I guess, because nobody's got their car straight and they're not ready to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's how you pull out a pretty good gap.
Well, we shall see any moment as they line back up for the restart.
Yeah, and Gisbergen, he's in 5th, but he's on the inside row, so that even favours him more. Just dive his car down and see what he can do. Hope it sticks.
Yeah. Well, he loves using that apron coming down through the tri-oval out of 4. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. We got like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 cars in a bunch there. There might be only 12 cars left on the racetrack. Too sure if there's anyone behind them. That's it.
So, yeah, we've got an awful lot of retirements. I'd go through them, but I don't think we have time. We started with, 22, and we've got 12 left, so we've lost 10.
Dave Douglas, he's back on track. Looks like he's having a bit of a moment on the backstretch himself. He's 14 laps down, so he's really not in this at all, but we're about to go green.
All right, so as we're coming up through 3 and 4 now. We'll wait for the safety car to peel off. Be good to see this go green. We're on lap 65, so they'll have 9 laps, Danny. 9-lap sprint.
Yeah, 9 to go. Edwards not going yet. He didn't go early. He goes now.
There he goes.
Good gap. Look at Gisbergen.
Oh, he got balked by Marwood.
Yeah, it slowed him up a little bit.
Yep, Van Gisbergen went to go, but he had a great big red car in front of him, so...
He's going to get up into 3rd. If he can jump on the high side here, no. Marwood tries to block him. Look at Gisbergen. Look at this.
Straight up the inside. Oh, he's going to challenge Foster. Well, straight off the bat. There he goes.
The first.
Well, got to say, that was pretty admirable, but he's also got the tyres, hasn't he? I'm wondering if it wasn't a bit of a gamble here for Foster. Although he's coming back now, a 4.
Yeah, he's been getting those good runs. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that you would have lost the lead in half a lap from a 5th place car.
And now you got Carlo on the back of Foster, which, you know, history says these two are going to fight and Van Gisbergen's just going to drive away. He's got fresh tyres.
Oh, yeah, Foster and Carlo, they're all over the back of each other. Looks like Carlo got Foster a little bit out of shape. Foster gets back up in front of him. We'll see what happens coming down the start-finish line, but they were all over each other down the backstretch.
It's been a fantastic recovery for Marwood too, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. He's making a run on 3rd here.
Yeah, so Foster's staying right up high on the... right up against the fence coming out of 2. Not really letting Marwood get the run on him, so Callow and Priest are ducking in behind. Looks like they're going to work together, hopefully, on the top line.
Yeah, you got Kello, he's playing Morse code on Edward Foster. Meanwhile, Gisbergen's just checked out. He's pretty much home and hosed.
Yeah. So we're working lap 68 of 75 right now, or 69 of 75 now, so 6 laps to go.
Callum on the outside of Foster. We'll see what happens here. They both prefer the high line. They come down right on each other.
Oh, contact. Callow and Foster. Callow's just... He's just taken out several.
Oh, and Sadler into the wall hard too.
That was all very messy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit. Trying to figure out where Sadler sort of ended up.
I think he just got collected by someone, didn't he?
Yeah, he went into the inside wall very hard.
Just having a look back now to see how this all happened.
It might not have been Sadler, it might have been Fullerton actually. Yeah, one of those cars hit the wall pretty hard.
I'm trying to work out whether Callow came down on Foster or Foster went up. I can't quite tell. Again, with the history with these two guys, it'll certainly be a talking point because it seems to be week after week.
Yeah, it certainly will. Meanwhile, this is probably going to set us up with a 1 to 2 lap shootout. It must be hard for Edward because he knows he doesn't have the tyres to Gisbergen. You'd expect Gisbergen would just absolutely pull away by 10 cars coming off turn 2, but it's going to be still a good fight between Edward and Dwayne Priest. They're still on the older tyres, and you got Marwood on the newer tyres with Stacey Walker, 6th position, or sorry, 5th.
Yeah, so none of these guys will pit, obviously, because this is going to be like a 2 or 3 lap sprint. Doesn't look like Foster's carrying too much damage, luckily.
No, he looks pretty clean to me.
Tell you what, lucky one out of that's Marwood, because he absolutely got poleaxed in the right-hand door from Callow as that all happened. But he's still sitting there in 4th. Doesn't seem to have really knocked him around too much.
No, I'm just having a look at his car now. And no, he looks pretty clean.
Yep. Well, Callow hit him in the right side, but it didn't turn him around. So very, very lucky to get away with that. Stacey Walker's still up there in 5th too, by the looks of it.
Yeah, he is, with all that damage. No rear wing, doing very well.
Yeah, I'd ask how, but I won't.
Yeah, right. I thought that car would be all over the place.
So did I. Alright, so hopefully the lights will go down the safety car fairly soon, because we're running out of time. It's on lap 72 right now, so we're already down to probably a 2-lap sprint.
Yeah, we'll just have a look if the pace car goes across the line this time if the lights go off.
Nope, still on. Might end up with a green-white checker.
Yeah, we could do. Gisbergen's on lap 72, so they should get the one to go next by, which is 73, and then... Yeah, so 2-3 laps.
Yep.
And Dave Douglas says he's taken his car behind the wall. He's done for the night.
Yeah, growing list, isn't it? I think we've only got about 10 cars left now on the lead lap.
Gerlach all the way back up into 7th. That's probably the furthest up the order I've seen him all night. So we'll see what he can do. He does have that little bit of right front damage, but he's on the fresher tyres too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting watching these guys come back. Kello's probably definitely out of it. He's got a lot of damage.
Well, Foster's got 36 lap old tyres and Van Gisbergen's got 10. So make of it what you will. All right, so they're going to cross the line now to work lap 73. So yeah. 2 lap sprint to the finish. Can't see anyone beating Van Gisbergen based on the pace that he's had. He's got the freshest tyres out of the leaders. Although Dwayne Priest has got the same amount. He pitted the same time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Actually, I think Priest stayed out. He was one of those 5 cars that didn't stay out. But yeah, the way Van Gisbergen's been getting through turns 1 and 2 and down the back stretch in the first lap, yeah, he's just going to run away. Because I think the big race is going to be between Marwood, Foster and Priest.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like they're forming up now as they come down onto the back stretch. We'll just have a look at JRT and telemetry showing that Priest did pit. So him and Van Gisbergen pitted. So did Walker and Callow.
Okay, that probably explains why they've got a little bit of pace on Foster. Yeah, Foster's going to have a pretty tall order here trying to keep these guys behind him.
Oh, he is. Absolutely. So as we come up into the final set of turns in 3 and 4, as we come across, pace car should peel off. We should be away for 2-lap sprint. And safety car peels off, and away goes Van Gisbergen. Look at that, just off like a rocket.
He's gone. Priest has got a pretty good inside line here on Foster. He should take this lead through turns 1 and 2. They get very close. They almost touch.
Yeah, a little bit too close, weren't they? Marwood's hanging in there in 4th.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get a good run coming off turn 2. Foster's held up pretty well, actually, and Gisbergen didn't get away like I thought he would.
No, with the way he jumped, I thought he'd just check out and be miles in front.
Yeah, but look at Priest here. He had a touch of a moment. He got loose going into turn 3. He's stuck pretty well. He's going to be right up the back of Van Gisbergen. And yellow flag. It's done the race.
That's it. So that'll be our finishing order. I didn't see who came unstuck back there.
Yeah, I'll go back and have a look. It was a bit disappointing that was setting up to be a pretty good finish. Looks like Todd Maxfield is the last one on the track.
Yeah, got up into the wall by the looks of it. Yeah, got up into the wall and he took Gavin Sadler out, unfortunately.
Damn, yeah. Wow, I think Dwayne Priest, he's going to be a little bit disappointed there. I think he had a shot of Van Gisbergen. Yeah, Van Gisbergen just didn't seem to get that gap like I thought he would. Even Foster was up there. But yeah, Foster's done pretty well to hold on for 3rd place, I think.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, you know, his tyres are almost 40 laps old, so...
Although Gisbergen's pitted.
What?
I don't know what's going on there, but Van Gisbergen's come into the pits. Dwayne Priest has inherited the lead.
What? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He hasn't retired yet. But now you got Foster overtaking Dwayne Priest. Oh no, the race is over.
Yeah, the race is over, yeah. So Dwayne Priest won the race from Edward Foster and Terry Marwood. I'm a bit confused, to be honest with you. That was Van Gisbergen's.
It was. That's a bizarre ending to this race.
I'm rather confused.
As am I.
Right, well, okay, let's regather ourselves. Just when you think that it's over, it suddenly isn't. Okay. Alright, so Dwayne Priest is our winner of round 5 here at Kansas, Danny. Unexpectedly, but okay. Second place was Edward Foster. That's going to be interesting for the points, actually, because those two are at the top of the table. They're only a few points apart, so they'll stay there because Matthew Clute was not a runner tonight. Yeah, so that's going to be fascinating for the points, actually, because what were they, 20 or 18 points apart?
Okay, so Priest will jump out a tad more on Foster. So it's 1 round to go.
Yep, so next week at Las Vegas will be the final round. And we'll see how it all pans out then. So Terry Marwood, a fine 3rd. He actually hung on really, really well in the end. That was a very good effort. Considering the difficulties he had tonight, he actually did bloody well, I reckon. Stacey Walker in 4th.
Yeah.
That was another great effort with part of his car missing. Michael Skurlock up 10 places from where he started into 5th. Now, with a damaged car, that was a great effort as well. 6th place was Norman Clark. 7th was Jackson Callow. Gavin Sadler ended up coming home in 8th with Shane Van Gisbergen 9th. I'm just utterly confused. And 10th was Raymond Yeager.
Yeah, a bit disappointing for Yeager. He definitely had pace early on in the race, but sort of got caught up in incidents and had to drop back. But yeah, good run by everybody. I'm just really impressed with Stacey Walker, actually. Just from the way that car was damaged, to stick up there in the top 5 and bring it home 4th was pretty unreal.
Yeah, it was a pretty good run, wasn't it? And I mean, it wasn't just like he got there at the end either. He stuck there all night. Yeah, he just hung in there and just did it the whole time and was just there or thereabouts.
Yeah, it was very cool.
All right. So after a unbelievable final few laps, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. But look, just going up there now to have a look in the green room, see who's about to have a quick chat to. What do we got? I think the only one hanging around right now would be Edward Foster. So we might pull him down and have a quick chat, yeah?
Yeah, sounds good.
Edward Foster, Brett Douglas from Performance E Streaming. How are you?
G'day, boys. How you going?
Not bad, not bad. Interesting race tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was. It's always interesting when you get a V8 Supercar champion there to have a bit of a run against. So yeah, that was good fun.
Yeah, well, pulling off on the last lap was a bit of an interesting tactic. It sort of left Danny and I a little bit confused.
Yeah, it had me a bit perplexed as well. But yeah, I guess you'd have to ask him.
Yeah. Well, he's not around, unfortunately. But so how was your race? So I see yourself and your old mate Jackson Callow there had a few moments towards the end there again.
Yeah. Look, it just seems to be that way. I think when you're both running up the front, these sorts of things happen. So we were running very closely last week. We're running very closely the week before. I think we've run closely most of the races so far. So that's not really. I guess that's surprising that you get together with people.
No, not at all. Not at all. It just seems to be you two are glued together at the moment and have been for a few rounds, as you point out. So, but yeah, you took a gamble at the end there and you stayed out when everybody else pitted. I'm guessing the car felt okay to you.
Yeah, the car was absolutely fine. I mean, the tyres on that high line were not really going away. You could make a move, as SVG showed a couple of times. You could really make a move down the bottom, but you could only really do it for like the first lap. You could get your foot in and make a move, stick down the bottom, but I wasn't really worried about him. It was Priest I was trying to finish in front of. In the end, we didn't manage that either, just by the absolute narrowest of margins when that caution came out. So yeah, but anyway, P2. So there you go.
Yeah, narrow, 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, it was very close. It was very close. Like when that caution came out, literally, it was just by dint to the fact that he had a better entry to the corner because he was on the lower line. If it had come out a couple of seconds later on, I probably would have been ahead. So, but that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. Nothing we can do about it.
Well, we're heading into the last round next week, round 6, Las Vegas. Is it a track you enjoy, a track you don't enjoy? What are your thoughts on going into the final round? Because you and Dwayne Priest aren't far apart on points.
Yeah, we're a little bit further after tonight, though. So I think we went into this. It was something like 18 points ahead. I think now it should blow out to about 22. So there's going to be a fair amount of difficulty for me to do it. It's not really in my hands. All I can do is do my absolute best. But if he manages to finish within, look, if he gets a top 10 finish, then it's pretty much over for me. So look, bad luck could strike him. Not that I wish bad luck on anyone, but if it does, we could be okay. But it's a much easier job for him now than it is for me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Danny, you got anything for Edward?
No, not really. Pretty much covered it all. But I was just saying earlier, like I thought that the stock cars were sort of a bit of a handful, but these things look like a massive handful on these tracks.
They're actually not. They've got a lot of downforce, you're a really good amount of downforce. So they're not that much of a handful. You do get a lot of toe off them, and they really don't absorb hits the way that stock cars do. You can really sort of lean on each other in stock cars, whereas in these, they can hook up the steering a little bit. You can get a bit tangled up with people and all sorts. So yeah, just very, very different style of car, but you can run 3 wide a lot easier in these than you can in a stock car, for example. So just because of that amount of downforce they've actually got on them. So they're not too bad. When the tyres go off, they're a little bit difficult, but certainly nowhere near as difficult as a stock car, that's for sure.
Cool. Thanks for the info.
Thanks very much.
Right. Anyone like to call out to before we let you go there?
Oh yeah, Performance E Streaming, obviously, for showing it, and also Gav Sadler and IRFF for putting together this series. It's been very, very enjoyable. I think there's a lot of people enjoying it, so kudos to them.
All right, no worries. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week in Las Vegas for the final round.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, Edward.
Thanks.
All right, so we don't have either of the other two top runners up there, Danny. So yeah, I don't know. We might call this one a night and start getting ready for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, too easy. Well, thanks for having me on board. It was fun to commentate this. It's good fun to watch.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And if you could join us next week, we'd be very, very happy to have you. So thanks also to Matty Hunter, as always, for pointing the cameras for us. Did a great job, as always. Without him, we would be lost half the time. So, but anyway, all right, until next week, Las Vegas, final round, round 6 of the IRFF AUSCAR series. We'll bid you all good night and thank you.
Catches.